All right, so I think we're on, what example are we on? 3? Yeah? Okay, cool. So for example number 3, let's do something like this. Let's do 1 over 5 times the quantity x plus 3 equals 2. Okay. Right off the bat, what is not fun about this problem? Fraction, right? Technically, let's focus on the 5. When I have 5 in the bottom of a fraction, what math operation is that? Adding, subtracting, multiplying, or division? I heard it, yeah. We do got to move the 5, but focus on the question I'm asking you. It's dividing. What is the inverse or opposite of dividing? Multiplying. So what I'm going to do to get rid of the 5 here, I'm going to multiply by 5. But remember, whenever we multiply or divide, we have to do that to every term. In other words, I'm going to have to distribute this 5 to this term. I'm going to have to distribute it to this term. And I'm going to have to distribute it to this term. So let's do this one first. What's 1/5 of 5, or 5 times 1 over 5? 1/5 of 5. Good. You guys are showing the finger 1, right? 1x, right? Because the x doesn't go away. It just kind of stays there, right? What's 5 times positive 3? 15. So that next term is going to be positive 15. Now, my math professors would kill me for saying it that way, but that's an easy way for kids to remember what's positive and what's negative, or if you keep it as an addition or a subtraction expression. Okay. What's 5 times positive 2? 10. All right. So now I basically have x plus 15 equals 10. Now, my goal when I do this is I want to get x by itself and all the other stuff on the other side. And the way that I do that, and I've already said it, is we're going to do the inverse operation. Now, this is a different way to do it. Or, well, it's an easy way to remember what to do. Think of the x, think of the 15. I want to move that positive 15 away from the x. What is the 15 really doing mathematically to the x? If you hone in and look at just this. Mathematically, what are we doing with the 15 and the x? Yeah.
Would you combine them together?
Well, you can't because it's x, right? They're not like terms, but when you say combine, what's the math thing that we would do? In other words, if x was a 2, what would you just do? You just add them, right? What's the inverse of adding? Subtracting. So to move the 15, I have to do the inverse, which is subtract 15. Remember, whatever I do on one side of the equal sign, I got to do it on the other. Uh-oh, what do you guys notice? Oh, boy, it's a negative. They say begrudgingly. All right, cool. So now positive and negatives are not fun at all. Sometimes there's rules, and if you don't follow the rules, you'll mess it up. So I'm going to show you something. Think of this. 10 minus 15. So think of a number line. 10 is over here somewhere, right? Going to the right on the number line is positive. Going to the left on the number line is negative. So if I start here and I go 15 units in the negative direction, where do I end up? Negative 5. Okay? Now, I know there's a bunch of rules and a bunch of kids have learned it. Whatever works for you, works for you. By the way, I have calculators up here on the SAT. You should be able to do this off the top of your head, but some questions allow you to use the calculators and some questions don't. This is an easy way to remember whether it's right or wrong, okay? For most of the time while we're in class, you can use a calculator to double check your work, okay? So my answer, my final answer, is actually negative 5. Does that make sense?